And hey everyone, to me, I'm Kamen Jojo, and welcome to another of my videos. And what is this video exactly? Well, that's a random video of I just want to show you guys, I guess what I've been up to these days. What what I had, what I've been up doing this year so far. So yeah, I guess let's start with the games I played this year, which I played a bunch of games. This is not every game I played. I also played some other games here and there, but I'm putting them here because it's mostly just like fighting games. I just played a little bit of, it's just not too much. So I only have few games that long games that I finished this year. So yeah, I guess let's begin, shall we? Also, I think I already told you guys, but my videos are unscripted, so that's why sometimes I ramble too much. Sorry, but yeah. Well, actually, let's start with the first game, which I actually didn't play this game this year. I played it last year actually. Yeah, I played it last year, but I decided to still include it because why not? As you can see the covers, you can see my phone. Yeah, Final Fantasy 15. I first played it when it first came out in 2016, but I was kind of dumb then, so I just didn't really know what I was doing. But yeah, I decided to replay it. Endings of last year, which it's been a year since I played this game. It's crazy, but yeah, this game wasn't really that good. I mean, I guess I'm mostly fascinated for what this game was supposed to be. Versus 13, and looks like that idea will get revived in Kingdom Hearts 4, which should come out maybe 2026. But yeah, so game was whatever. Didn't play the DLC. I should probably go back and play the DLC. But yeah, it's kind of sad to see that that version of Versus 13 didn't happen. Which, from all the trailers we did get to see Versus 13, it's just such a shame, and I would have kind of killed to play it. But yeah, I just realized I was recording this video backwards, and I'll just keep it like this. I mean, because I don't really want to repeat myself again. But yeah, sorry about that mistake. But yeah, 15. Then beginning 2024, I played Final Fantasy 16, which this game was pretty good. It was the first Final Fantasy that decided to went on full action, and it's this probably the Final Fantasy that has strayed away from what Final Fantasy is the farthest. It's definitely even more than 15, because yeah, 15 decided to do the real-time combat, but still felt like Final Fantasy. But this one straight up didn't feel like Final Fantasy really. I guess you got the icons, which are the summons from the past games, which yeah, because usually summons in all the games are just feel like they're just kind of there. They don't really add anything special. They're just like a gameplay stuff. But this one, what's cool about this one is that they made the summons, it's such a major core element of the game, and you're able to control them, story revolve around them, which is a pretty cool thing. But yeah, I enjoyed this game, quite long, not a perfect game, just the sites activities are kind of boring, I guess, and because the story was kind of iffy here and there. But overall, for what it was a pretty decent game. Maybe hardcore Final Fantasy guys feel very bad about this game, but as someone that's not really that big into Final Fantasy, then I only played a few of them, and most of them are the modern ones. So yeah, I guess this game, for people like me, probably might have enjoyed more than some hardcore fans. But yeah, pretty good game. Then Tekken 8, which Tekken 8 came out earlier this year, which was a pretty good fighting game. It was the final battle between 7 was the final battle between Heihachi and Kazuya, and this is the final battle between Kazuya and Jin, and the redemption of Jin. So yeah, it's a pretty good game. Really like the roster. Pretty cool new characters. Very good game. I have to go back and play out the DLC. And the other cool things that recently, which funny because Noctis was a DLC character in Tekken 7, and now Clive is a DLC character in Tekken 8, which as someone that played both Final Fantasy and Tekken, having Noctis and Clive in Tekken's an awesome thing. But yeah, Oh yeah, I guess they brought the Hachi bag and Nate, which is kind of bullcrap, but oh well. And I guess after that we have Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which is the 8th mainline game, or I guess 9 if you count Zero. But yeah, it's a pretty good game because like it's the return of Kiryu, and this game is finally ending Kiryu's saga, which I guess was supposed to end in 7. I mean, it's 666 and 7 he returns the cameo, but now I decided to bring him. To be honest, I think this is probably the perfect conclusion of Kiryu's story because I feel like 6 was good, but at the same time, I'm not sure they didn't really acknowledge the past that much. But this one, they acknowledged Kiryu's past very well, and I feel like this is the perfect ending for Kiryu's story. Then we might see Kiryu return, like either Ichiban revisiting his graveyard if he dies, or either if he lives, Ichiban visiting him in his house. But yeah, pretty good game, and Ichiban's story was also pretty good. Although I'm not sure the ending of the story kind of felt iffy. Like I feel like they could have done more with the story at the ending, if I'm being honest. But yeah, pretty good game, RPG game, very long game, a bunch of DLCs. I spent like over $100 in the DLCs of this game, which, yeah, I know for a bunch of people, I'm probably a massive idiot for doing that, but it's my favorite game series, so yeah. After that, I have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which this was a pretty good game because the first game was in Midgard, and this one's after Midgard, so like the Costa del Sol, Cosmic Canyon, and the swamps and all that stuff, plus where things really get going story wise. But yeah, it's a pretty good game, and had the sack stuff, and this. But yeah, actually, how massive this game is, this game ended up being 2 discs. Yeah, 2 discs to install, which is crazy. But yeah, this was a very good game. I can't wait for the 3rd Final Fantasy VII, remake, the part 3, so we can have this, this Final Fantasy VII, the new remake franchise be complete. But it's probably will not come out until 4 years from now. But well, maybe actually 3, because it's been almost a year since this game came up. But yeah, very much excited to see what they do next. After this, I guess those games I already beat them a handful of times in the past. Like, I don't remember how much Arkham City and Asylum, but Arkham Knight beat it 2 times in the past, so this was my 3rd time. But yeah, the Arkham games were games that were very big in my childhood. But the last time I played them was like 2018. So yeah, it's been quite a while since I played them. I feel like I just have to replay them again. Plus, in Arkham Knight, I never played the DLC, so this was my first time playing the DLCs. But yeah, the Arkham games, Arkham Asylum, City, great classic games. Arkham Knight was controversial when it came out, and I guess it does have some problems with especially with the Batmobile. There's not enough good boss fights, even though the last games had very good boss fights. But yeah, overall, they're pretty good games. I think it's probably the best iteration of Batman, because this Batman series is way too over the top bonkers, punching sharks level stuff. But yeah, so yeah, pretty good games. Nice, replay through them. After that, some other games like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which Dragon Ball, I'm not sure, my history with Dragon Ball is kind of funny. I guess I grew up with it a bit because I have 2 uncles who are massive fans of the series, and one of them had the DVD box sets, which I watched a bit of them when I was a kid, and he also had the PS2 Budokai Tenkaichi games, which I did play a little bit when I was a kid. So yeah. But yeah, so I decided to, I always want to get into the series properly, experience the story properly, and I don't want to read the manga or watch the anime. When there's a game about it, much rather play the game. So yeah, I decided to experience the full story properly from beginning to end. Something I didn't really do as a child. But so yeah, I got the opportunity to finally do it as a grown up. Which that feels weird to say, but yeah, Kakarot, pretty good game. I even bought all the DLC, which tell all the story of Z, and also tell the last chapter of the original Dragon Ball with the tournament fighting Piccolo Jr., then the end of Z stuff, and so yeah, pretty good game. Also the Berthok stuff. So yeah, really much enjoyed this game. I went ahead and bought the other Dragon Ball games like Sparking Zero and Fighters, which I don't have here because I didn't really play that much of them. But yeah, This game, very long game, but yeah, very good game. Then the last games are, some like play Dynasty Warriors 8. Well, I have the digital version of Dynasty Warriors 8 Extreme Legends, but I got the physical edition of 8 Empire, so I didn't really play that much of 8 Empires. But yeah, because I always wanted to get into like the Toy Tecmo, ancient China, feudal Japan stuff. So that stuff kind of interests me. So yeah, but Dynasty Warriors 8 was pretty fun game. I mean, those games might not be for everyone because they're quite repetitive and the gameplay is very simplistic button mashing. But yeah, it's cool to finally learn properly the story of the romance of the Three Kingdoms with Lu Bu, Liu Bei, Cao Cao, Xiao Jun, Guan Yu, all that stuff. So yeah, pretty good game. I enjoyed it. They also played Samurai Warriors 4, which probably people say it's the best Samurai Warriors. Which I played both of those games and beat all the story modes. So yeah, Samurai Warriors 4 become more confusing because in Dynasty Warriors there's only 3 factions. Wu, Wei, Shu, and then Jin and D&D. But Samurai Warriors was Sengoku era Japan, so there was like way more factions like. So yeah, of course, much more factions. So yeah, overall it was a pretty good game with the Yukimura and Nobuyuki, the Sandaras and the Nobunaga, Hideyoshi, Tokugawa, Tate Masamune, just naming off characters. But yeah, the Genshin stuff, all the factions and the Hojo and whatever. But yeah, pretty good games and it's finally nice to properly know. Plus I also ended up watching an hour-long videos about explaining about the Three Kingdoms and Sengoku era of China and Japan, so I properly know those two histories and those two Asian countries properly. Yeah, also I'm making a comic book which is based on that ancient China, feudal Japan era, so those games also kind of work well. It's like research for that, if that makes sense. So for me, instead of going to college, this is my college playing games. I'm not sure if that sounds dumb, but yeah. I also played Soul Calibur 6. I was playing all the story modes. Didn't finish all of it. There's still 2 more stories I need to play. The Hoang and Satsuga stuff, which I need to play. DLC stuff. But yeah, I played this game a while ago, but never really played through much of the story modes. But yeah, damn, the story modes are very long compared to Tekken, which all the individual story modes of all the characters are extremely short. But this one, they're quite long. Well, they're not that long, but when you add all of them up, it definitely takes some time. But yeah, this, Soul Calibur, who knows when Soul Calibur 7 will come out. But yeah, the last major game. Oh yeah, and also I forgot, but I also played Sonic X Shadow Generations, which my brother bought for himself, and tried to play it also. But yeah, that game was Sonic Generations, the original release in 2011, was a pretty important game in my childhood. I first played it back in 2012 when I was like 9 years old, and it's a game that meant so much to me in my childhood. Then playing this remaster that it's not just the game remaster, but straight up comes to a new Shadow section, which inspired a lot gameplay wise by Sonic Frontiers. It was definitely a quite journey, because back then when I played Generations as a kid, the game felt so magical. I remember it took me a bit of time to beat it, but now it's grown up. I don't know, I beat the game like if it was nothing, and then when you're a kid, things feel more magical than when you're grown up. Then that definitely hit me hard while playing this game, because my life as a kid, 9-year-old, is very different than my life right now as a 22-year-old, and things have changed a lot, and it's definitely quite the journey to go through. But yeah, it was definitely crazy. But thankfully, that's where the Shadow section comes in, because the Shadow section's way more complicated gameplay mechanic wise than Sonic Generation, and so Shadows, I didn't have that feeling of childhood, nostalgia. I just felt different, so that's why I really like this game, because half of it felt very nostalgic and kind of sad. But then with shadow section felt very 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 new and interesting. Like so I'm not sure if I'm making even sense or I'm just rambling around. But yeah, just like shadow section overall, it's just great. New memories to make. You know my life from what it was before, it's not the same as it is now, and the shadow section kind of represented that well. I'm not sure if I'm making sense or it sounds weird, but yeah, the shadow section of the game really it was very nice experience to have overall. But yeah, when it comes to shows, I ended up watching two shows that being Kamen Rider Gaim and Kamen Rider Drive, which which is not that much compared to like last year, which I ended up watching 10 Kamen Rider shows, played through Wizard, which was quite a lot. So hopefully I can pick up the pace next year. But yeah, I ended up enjoying those two shows quite a lot. Guy missed the one I wanted to watch the most since the beginning, but I want to go in chronological order. So here I am, and I enjoyed Guy for what it was. It's pretty good. I mean, it felt too ambitious and it kind of tripped over its own tail at times, but overall it was a good show. Drive was more simple than Gaim. It didn't have that crazy ambition, so it felt more like more consistent than Gaim, if that makes sense. But yeah, I like both shows. Right now I'm currently watching through the Gaim and Drive movies, which this is what I usually do now. I just watched two shows, of Kamen Rider, then I saved the movies and the special for the last. But yeah, I ended up watching those two shows, and I guess this is an update to the video I did last year of watching Kamen Rider in my computer. Which, when I made that video, I finished decade, and yeah, I guess. But yeah, but now I'm to Drive. Then I guess Ghost will be next, which I'm not too excited for Ghost because I hear it's not that good. Plus, I'm not really that big. I don't know. I don't really like the aesthetics of Ghost too much either. Actually, I hear it's good, but yeah, build I hear is very good. But then some people say no, that show's actually overrated. But yeah, let's just. Well, I'll just wait and see what's up. But yeah, hopefully I can next year also start watching some Sentai shows, which actually ended up watching most of Power Rangers back when I was a teenager, which to be honest I kind of regret doing that. What I should have done instead is watch Super Sentai, odd Super Sentai when I was a teenager. So yeah, I definitely should have watched Super Sentai, Marathon Super Sentai instead of Power Rangers. One of my regrets in life, because that's a lot of Super Sentai shows to watch, and I would have much rather put that time to Super Sentai instead of Power Rangers. But yeah, well, what is done is done. But yeah, I guess that's about it. I also ended up reading some comics. Ended up reading Amazing Spider-Man Omnibus Volumes 4 and 5, which is like issues 106 to 186, I believe. I'm not too sure about that, but yeah, next year Volume 6 should come out, and that would take us up to issue 200. So yeah, by next year I should be able to say I read 200 issues of Amazing Spider-Man, which yes, the process is kind of slow because I'm reading them in Omnibus edition, and in Omnibus they usually take a bit of time to release the stuff, so it's definitely going to take me quite a while to read. I might not read all of Amazing Spider-Man because the newer stuff with Sep Webs of I don't know, it just doesn't sound that good with the post stuff. Yeah, but yeah, I guess my main aim is to go through the JSM stuff with Spider-Man, finish out the up to issue 500. I want the one more day. That's my goal for Spider-Man right now, is to get through that point. I'm not sure, I might skip some stuff like the stuff after the Clone Saga and before the JSM run. Hear that stuff is not that good, it's kind of a lot, but yeah, I'll see. But yeah, and also the Dan Slott era Spider-Man, I actually have read already a bunch of those comics because that's the era I grew up as a kid reading Spider-Man comics. So I guess I'm not really that big rush to read that stuff because again, I already know most of it because I already read a bunch of it, So yeah, prior to my journey. But yeah, I guess that's about it. And look at my K-pop here. I'm just joking, but yeah. I guess that's about it. I guess I won't talk about things personal because I'm sure that would be kind of weird if I talk about personal stuff. 'Cause I actually remember last year, 2023. Last days of last year, I want to make like a 30 long minutes about me talking about life, giving my life updated. But then I ended up not releasing it because first of all, it was 30 minutes long, and having me run a ramble for 30 minutes would have been way too crazy overall, way too extremely crazy. But and also it would have aged. Also went too personal, which I don't want to be too personal in my YouTube channel. And also yeah, it was, I guess, a bunch of the new resolutions I wanted to do this year. I ended up not accomplishing them, so that video would have aged horribly. So yeah, it's a good idea I didn't upload that video. But yeah, I guess that's about it. And hopefully, I guess next year, I'm going to consume a bunch of media, and also I'm going to focus on my own character, like improving myself, physical, mentally, and become a more responsible person. A person people could look up to. But yeah, that's it's not going to be easy, but oh well. So yeah, I'm looking at the phone, not at the camera, so yeah, it's kind of weird, but yeah, I guess that's about it. I guess yeah, I guess see you guys later. Bye.